This is Take 5 with Bentley, Nevada. In the studio with me again today is Carlos Gomez. Carlos is VP of our Augury Strategic Alliance. And during our break, you mentioned this thing called the bow tie concept. And I wonder if you can unpack that for us a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so I think that, and again, not inventing anything new here, but when we think about what a lot of people in the industry call the SaaS, so software as a service playbook, the bow tie model has basically come down to how we need to think about organizing ourselves, right? So a lot of time what's going to happen here is you're going to start with this massive push on awareness of this product, right? And educating your customers that eventually and hopefully leads to a much, much smaller pool of selected individuals who want to try this out, right? And again, that is a massive amount of energy, time, cost, sales individuals, training that gets you to that tiny, kind of middle point of the bow tie where you have those wins. But the moment that those wins begin occurring with your real SaaS solution, now you start thinking about what's really your goal, which is I've landed that deal. I'm thinking about what does it mean to expand that opportunity to make an incredible impact at the site, at the number of sites. And eventually what you want that expansion to become is your enterprise level deal, right? So now it's a growth upon the enterprise at all their sites everywhere because they've seen so much value generated through this bow tie motion that we've taken them through, and you do it again and again and again, right? So a lot of effort and a lot of admittedly patience that our organizations and new organizations that want to move to the SaaS model need to think about as they try this.
Sure. So you gotta go through the knot. It's really what you're saying.
Yeah. The knot is your proof in the pudding that begins to open up even more doors because now you can showcase either to similar customers, similar industries, you can do something unique for them.
Now, I heard some interesting statistics, Carlos, as I've been kind of coming up to speed on many of these different topics, moving through the business right now. And one of them is that in fact, it was pretty staggering. 70% of companies have activities in the digital transformation space. The estimate I saw was $2 trillion with a T dollars being spent in 2023 on these initiatives, but yet only 16% of them actually delivering what was hoped. So, I guess if you do the math, about 1 out of 6, something like that, are actually putting their money where their mouth is. And this one seems to me, though, to have legs, as they say, that when people attack those less critical assets and they really have an open mind to do it differently and maybe move away from, the manual data collection, there's good ROI, there's scalability. The AI actually delivers on its promise. As you're engaging with customers, as you're looking at the installations, for instance, over the years that Augury's been able to achieve, I mean, what percentage of those customers have said, yeah, we're really happy we went this direction?
It's a great question. And maybe an interesting data point to add on top of your 70-ish%. Maybe a similar, and coincidentally, number is we did a pretty wide survey of our customers to determine how they feel about some of those trials and POCs that they did. And over 75% of our customers told us that they felt like they were stuck in pilot purgatory, right? So they invested a fair amount of money, right? And we're talking about potentially somewhere between what could be hundreds of millions to billions sometimes, depending on who you're working with. And they just did not get out of that pilot phase to be able to accomplish their goals, right? Which goes back to that satisfaction equation that we talked about before, where it's just too good to be true sometimes, and it didn't deliver what they had hoped it would promise.
To be clear, Carlos, just to interrupt, we're not talking about people that pursued this machine health strategy. We're just saying all of these various digital transformation things in the funnel, most of them didn't deliver.
That's correct. And unfortunately, that's caused let's say a bad taste in a lot of these CDOs and transformational experts' mouths that what if I'm just going to run into the solution again? And what is differentiating the reason I should trust a Baker Hughes, Bentley Nevada, and Augury Alliance combo that's going to bring me some success.
Right, right. Well, I would think, as we said before, there's generally a strong need to actually do a proof of concept, not just accept things on faith. But once you're going to go there, you want to be able to quickly ascertain, is this thing really going to live up to its promises? And in these proof of concepts, how long from the moment the customer says, let's go, pull the trigger, to the point where there's actually data streaming in, and to the point where they say this thing is delivering the ROI that you said it was? Are we talking 12 months? Are we talking 18 months? What are we talking about?
Let me be very specific. And the way that we're trying to measure ourselves, when it comes to from moment of, remember, we talked about from moment of purchase order, not even installation, from moment of purchase order to get out there, do that installation, commissioning, get this thing going. We are aiming for 3 months, within 3 months of demonstrating time to value with that first catch, that first that value generating event. Mm-hmm. When it comes to just the insight we're aiming for, we want that to be 7 days, right? So the moment we've plugged in and baseline the machine, we want at minimum, a 7-day quick turnaround that the customer can basically start articulating what's going on here. So those are aggressive targets. But in general, Steve, what we've seen statistically more normal is 1 to 6 months of time to value and 1 to 2 weeks of time to insight.
Well, I would think that's going to satisfy these digital transformation officers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, and we've seen that already. And the good news is we've been delivering on that 3-month-ish scale. So it allows us to really have some great dialogues with not only let's say the local users of the technology, but even the executives above them that sometimes can't believe that they're getting the results as quickly as they are.
Well, Carlos, this is a great place to take a break, put in a bookmark, and then come back. I think in the next installment, I'd like to talk a little bit about, how is customer success measured, and how do you know when you've truly achieved it? And a lot of that has to do with who gets to define success. And surprisingly, sometimes it's not the customer, but in this offering, I think it's a little different. So let's, with that, take a break. This has been Take 5, Bentley Nevada, a Baker Hughes business. We'll see you next time.